Giving our praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Harakak Wadash. Double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutes to all the sincere elect out there. Keep on fighting. So, why are so-called black people, which we're going to get into it, above all people? Why? The question could be, people have these kind of questions, and what's trending in Israel at the moment, we hear what's going on, so we're going to address it here, right now, here and now. So let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and verse 8. It says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people above all people that are upon the face of the earth." So that's really the answer. There's more to back that up. The answer to the question, what makes you so special, people may ask. We're going to address this in I've heard people say, I'm above all people. Right now we're just worms living out our slavery, living out the curses. But that time going to come, and it's going to be very obvious. So when it says here, a holy people unto the Lord in capitals, that's the Most High. So if you're going to take it up with anybody not happy about it, you got to take it up with Yahweh, right? As you Christians call him God. So that's the reason why, but there's many other things we're going to address as well and look into certain words just to add to the point, to back up the point. So, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people. So, right, let me ask a question here. Chosen meaning. It says, having been selected as the best or most appropriate. Man, the Most High, so you got to really take your time and let that one settle and meditate on that. So that word, the God has chosen, he's selected certain people that he's chosen, right? For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people. And there's another word there, special, right? The word special meaning better, greater, or otherwise different from what is usual. Belonging, specifically, belonging specifically, if I'm saying it right, specifically to a particular person or place. And there's another word that is coming to my mind. So that's chosen. We just looked at the word chosen, right? Have been selected as the best or most appropriate. Another word. Peculiar meaning. Strange, odd. Right, strange, odd. Distinctive. Exclusively. Belonging exclusively to one person or thing. And the Most High says that he's chosen us, right, to be above. And we're going to another word as well, above. We're going to check out the blue letters. I want to just so-called tie up these loose ends that some newly ones may have or Christians may have, right? Because there's a lot of drama, a lot of controversy taking place with the former members of the Sikari camp. But there's too many scriptures. There's too much overwhelming evidence. But this is how we're going to come at it right here and right now. So the Lord have, for thou art a holy people, the Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people. Special, we looked at the word special. And peculiar, chosen unto himself above all people. The word, another word here, above. Above, right? So when you tap in above all people, face of the earth, these are the scriptures that be coming up. There's a whole lot. You can also get into the word elect, right? Or eklektos in the Greek, meaning chosen. I've done a video on that. So above all people, the word here meaning above. Above can mean in a higher place or position, more than a certain amount or level of superiority to something. or selected or elect, selected for a particular office. One of my previous videos, I'm just reeling it off the top of my head. Elect, selected for a particular office or position. In the Greek, electos. Eklektos or electos, if I'm saying it. That's how you say it in the Greek. As close, I'm saying it as close as the best I can pronounce it. Electos or eklektos, meaning chosen. So I'm just going to tie up some of these new loose ends that once again, then people may be getting, people have said to be getting, feeling confused because they're following the wrong camp. That's really the bottom line. So above, and when you look into the word as well, above, above, beyond, above, in a place or position higher than, upon, more than, on high. You get the idea. Right? Above. Right? Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. So above in the etymology, we're a word special as well in the etymology. Special, preeminent, important, from the Latin specialis, belonging to a particular kind of species. So yeah, oh boy. Yeah, but that's right, right? Peculiar people, right? They got all kinds of bywords for the so-called black people, right? But they're off on the bywords, but they'd be correct if they said peculiar. They'd be correct if they said peculiar, strange or odd, right? And it goes for all of the so-called black people in some strange, you know, in a good way, So, we went off. That's why right now we can't be walking around like we're the dog's bollocks, and but we can have a sense of self-esteem, because many people don't have that when they are not aware of that they're put in a particular position, that they're chosen by God. You can have a self-esteem, a healthy self-esteem, not be walking like and and the reason why a lot of people go and take up all kinds of philosophies, right, and religions that is not of their own, aka sons of the Most High God, right? Yahshua Allah, He Prince of the Power, Yah He, Shah Prince Allah Power, because they're not aware of that they're the Prince of the Power or chosen by God. They're getting all kind of trouble and all kind of drugs, and they live a heathen life. So there's a lot of disadvantages to not knowing that you are a special people chosen by God. And if we would have hearkened, right, if we would have hearkened Deuteronomy 28, these are the consequences because we didn't hearken, right? The consequences of disobedience is from 15 of Deuteronomy 28. But if we would have hearkened, we read 13. And the Lord, let's read 12. And the Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, if we would have hearkened and kept his commandments and listened to them. The prophet Moses, the heavens to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations. Right, that's the position that we're going to get that. We went off for a period of time, and we had to go off anyway. Most I put it in our spirits to go off. The high priest Yahweh made mention of that for us to understand the good and the bad, how to rule, both negative and the positive. So we had to go off. And to bless all the work of thine hand, thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. That's what we're suffering now. We're under all the nations. So we can't walk around at the moment, not now, like we're the dog's bollocks. But we are special, right? And we can believe that in our hearts, despite being worms and being trampled down and suffering all the plagues of Deuteronomy 28, because it was for a period and for a very valuable lesson. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above all, shall be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. Right, these would have been the blessings, but we went off. But we definitely can say, yes, we're above all people, and we had to suffer the consequences of not listening to Moses. Right, Deuteronomy 28:15 onwards. We don't got to read all of it. We don't got to read it, but I'm hitting the points, the bullet points of why can we make a claim, right? A real, and it's not an overstatement, a special claim. Why are we above all people? Oh, you're racist, and we are. We're for our people, right? The word racist. As a matter of fact, let's see something. Let's see something right here. Racist meaning a person who believes one race is better than another, right? Oh, thank you, the warrior Hashimashai. He's racist, right? I just read it. I just read Deuteronomy 7 and 8, right? That's what the scripture said, talking about his people that he the Most High God, has chosen, right? Discriminant against other races, right? Not in that sense, but in the sense of the scriptures, right? Someone believes one race is inherently superior, that person is racist. Individuals can be racist, but so can businesses, laws, and governments, right? So you got Edomites, right? Today, right? They got the word called institutionalized racism, right? And that's the real form of racism, where they can exclude you from all different types of corporations, and this, the list goes on. And any black man that's been here behind enemy lines can explain that. And if you can't say it in so many words, you can explain it because of your life experience, because of our lives experience. So there's nobody more racist than these. But when you stand up and you read these scriptures, they're not like it. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. Right? The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the lowest of all people. Right? Because the Most High is about his underdogs. But he takes the low people, dusts them up, right? And there's too many scriptures. We ain't gonna be able to get into all of them. Dusts them up because we're the monument, and clean them up like how you may clean up a woman. He was who was dirty, or she had a former way of life. That's what the Most High did to his woman, Yashua Allah, right? And Revelation 21 from the top explains that, right? There's going to be a marriage, right? So that's the point. Just there you have it. The word races as well. A person who believes one race is better than the other. I just read it, Deuteronomy 28. And it's not just about believing as well. Most High go and prove it. Right? Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. Most High is going to prove it. So there's other scriptures too. Just to hit the point. Romans chapter 7, and to make the point, Romans 7, I think it's 30. When you hit 30, it says, moreover, whom he did predestinate them, he also called them, another word for chosen, called, and whom he called them, he also justified, and whom he justified them, he also glorified, right? He chose them, he called them, talking about the elect now. It's very specific. Jump down to 29. Nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which he in Yahushua Mashiach our Lord, because the Lord purchased us via his sacrifice, which was his blood. He purchased us, his people. That's another reason why he's put the seal on it, the seal of special people. We are special to him because we was bought via a high price that makes us special. So we got another one just to seal the deal. Like I say, there's too many scriptures. There's another one. Another precept. Let's find it right now. Ephesians 1 and 11 says, in whom he also have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of whom he worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. So predestinated. Predestinated. When you check out the word there in Ephesians 1 and 11. Ephesians 1:11 says, being predestinated. Right? To predestinate, to predetermine, to decide beforehand. God decree, there you have it, from eternity beforehand, obtain, appoint beforehand in the Strong's, ordain, predestinate. I'm going to ask a question with Google. Predestinate meaning. What is the meaning of the word predestinate? For ordain, to an earthly or eternal lot or destiny. Now said, ordained. Foreordained. So the Most High has chosen his elect, been predestinated, foreordained from the beginning of time, decided beforehand in the Greek. I want to hear one pronunciation.
Strong's G 4309. Praorizo. Praorizo.
Right. Sometimes they say in blue letter be going off sometimes, but I would say yes, decided beforehand, predestinated beforehand. And when you get into another word here, which we haven't looked at it yet in the blue letter, you want to go to 6, Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. Holy people, the word chosen. We looked at it in the Google. It says elect, decide for, chosen. And we know already, but going over this once again. Join. That's the word. That's it. Root, probably selected, chosen, selected, or eklektos. We went into that word once again. Means chosen for an office, a particular office or position. Another word, chosen. We looked at special in the Google. So H5459, special, right? Valued. I've said the word peculiar. Peculiar goes into odd, strange. So peculiar, treasure unto the Most High God. Enough said there. Tying up some loose ends for any who may have them out there who still confused. In one of my previous videos, the elect ain't going to be shaken or the elect ain't going to be confused. 2 of my previous videos. So just tying up some loose ends. The word here, possession, property. So we're the Most High's possession, we're the Most High's property. Another precept to look into. I was meditating on this too. That's why sometimes the Most High be letting drama take place in Israel. When you get into Genesis chapters 1 and 26, it says, and God said, let us make man in our image. Right? I'm hitting the point. The Lord's creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Bara Asha, right? In the beginning. Bara Asha in the beginning. Right? He created the heavens and the earth in the beginning. And when we go through, when we get to the point, just to back up the point, jump down to 26 of 1, it says, and God let us make man in our image after he formed the earth And then he brought the animals out of the waters. He said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over his other creation, the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over all the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth above the earth. So he gave dominion to man, his chosen vessel, talking about his elect. And what did he do when it talks about making them in our image, making man in our image? He's talking about the Most High made them separate, giving them laws, right? Which the laws, we go into the laws, Deuteronomy, Exodus, laws, Leviticus laws, right? Which made them separate from the creation, from the Most High's other creation, right? The animals of the air, of the sea, right? And also all the other creations that he created, right? In order to set them as laws which will make them supreme creatures, makes them supreme, and it makes them, that's why they're so special, right? We're talking about his elect, once again, the ones that were predestinated from the beginning, the first fruits, right? He predestinated from the beginning. He called, moreover, let's go back to Romans 8 and 30. Moreover, whom he did predestinate them, he also called. We just looked at it in Genesis 1 and 26. He called, and whom he called them, he also justified them, right? Made them separate, giving them a separation, giving them laws, which made them supreme beings. Justified him, whom he justified them, he also glorified them. The word, once again, supreme, right? His creation. And we're talking about specifically the elect. And we looked at it as well in Ephesians 1 and 11. In whom also he have obtained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of whom he worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. And when he chose them, predestinated from the beginning, they had a big part in his creation, right? Because he gave them the blueprint, right, to farm the earth, the universe, the firmaments, and taking part in the plants, the herbs. When you read from the top, all of the creation, the first fruits were there. So if we are his first fruits, his elect, we're his hopeful elect, we were there. Hence why when you get into some of the tribes, the more you get into the tribes and understand the tribes, their characters, they reflect all of them in some way, shape or form. And that, talking about all the 12 tribes, reflect the Most High's image, right? In the way that they feel, in the way that the things that they say, in their whole character. And how when they explain the affection that they have for the earth, because they was given laws and that made them supreme. And now look at the word, right? Supreme. The word supreme. We looked at the word special, chosen, elect, peculiar. Let's see. Supreme meaning. Supreme. Having a highest rank authority. I want to take my time with this one and let this one marinate. Talking about his elect. Having a highest rank, authority, importance, or quality, and can also mean the greatest or most supreme degree of something. I don't got to read all of it. The point Dan made, supreme, highest in rank or authority, which really is Yehoshua. And if you really want to go all the way, the highest is Yahweh. So it's Yahweh, supreme being, otherwise described as the Most High or supreme being. Then Yehoshua under him, right? Ranked under Yehoshua. Under Yahweh is Yehoshua, and then under Yehoshua is King David, and then you got his elect, selected 144,000, which are supreme to the rest of creation, right? Hence why we spoke about, or we opened up with Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. I want to see something here, right? One more thing, Lord willing, just to end it off. We're going to read it in the NLT and see what it says. For you are a holy people who belongs to the Lord your God. Of all the people on earth, the Lord your God has chosen you to be his own special people. Right? His own special people, and we're above all the other people. Right? Enough said. Enough said. For you are a special, holy, for you are a people holy to God. Right? To the Lord your God, the Lord your God have chosen you out of all the nation, of all of the people on the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. The Wada Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. Kala Yahweh Hashem Yoshai Hashem Rakah Kodash. And it wasn't for anything that we did. It was because we were chosen, and there's no argument about it because the Most High did it. And let me read on. In 7 it says, the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all the people. But because of the Lord loved you, and because you would keep the oath which he and had sworn unto your forefathers. Right, so that's what makes us above all the other people. And hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of the bondman. Right? And ultimately, the bondman now is the wicked, the Edomites. He's going to redeem us from under their yoke. Right? Deuteronomy 28. He's going to redeem us from all the curses. Right? And he hasn't forgotten us. So don't listen to these quirky, false prophets. Right? Hakar, they've took a bag, and Hassad, right? And any other false prophets that are going to rise their ugly heads, right? You can be sure of that. Don't listen to them. So we're going to be redeemed, you out of all the house of the bondmen and from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. So we've got the king of Egypt now, right? Which is now we're in bondage. Egypt is another word in the Greek, represents the meaning, or is the word bondage. And we're back here under bondage, under these wicked Edomites today. And we're going to be released from that bondman, right? The so-called white man. We're going to be released from that, despite what they say, and we're going to be above them, right? We read that as well in Deuteronomy 28 and 13. No more we won't be under them. We're going to be above them for once and for all. And it's going to be everlasting eternity reigning above all these other nations. So that's the answer of that question. Why? People want to say, why you would you think you are? Why are we above all the other nations? Because the Most High selected us to be, predesignated us from the beginning. We looked at that. We went into the scriptures. And the ultimate one was when he gave us the laws in Genesis chapters 1 and 26. It was from the first fruits were chosen from the beginning. Genesis chapters 1 and 26. And we're supreme to all these other nations. And we say in humility. And it's going to be known worldwide. The Wada Yahweh Hashem Shah until the next one.